machines. They're unstoppable. Mortal for machines. They will rule the world.
Hi, it's the 2-Minute Terminator. It's the Sanity edition. I finally got Ellie to do an edition. Actually, it was her idea. We're doing it immediately after episode 43.
Hold here.
Yeah, so this is episode 44. We are going from, and that's a great question actually, where are we going from?
We are going from 1 hour and 26 minutes to 1 hour and 24 minutes to 1 hour 26 minutes. No, 1 hour and 26 to...
We're going from 1 hour 26 minutes to 1 hour 28 minutes. So it's 86 minutes to 88 minutes, the 2 minutes bridging that gap. I'm Ethan McKinley.
I'm Ellie Fitzgerald.
We are the co-hosts of the 2-Minute Terminator franchise podcast where we break down the films 2 minutes at a time. Basically, we watch the film and hopefully we talk about it. Although the last 3 or 4 episodes have been this kind of like biographical trip through our lives.
So we've
as they
promised
slowly
ourselves
unravel.
that this
We
was going to
promised
be a
ourselves
10 minutes fun fact.
Fun fact filled podcast.
Concise.
Having said that, and I say I think too much, but having said that, I say having said that too much, don't I? Yeah. And I've said that twice. Yeah. So I'm going to try and stop doing that. Having said that, Ellie, look at the trivia we've got here.
Okay, so is this trivia or facts?
Well, just read what we've got. I got nothing.
Fuck.
There is no trivia. Now, I think there is trivia, but for some reason, my logged facts from Terminator the start all the way to here, I've got to 44, and everything's missing out of my notes. I don't know why that is.
Well, I was going to look on Viber, and then you press play, so fuck you.
It's all right, we can wing it. It'll be 10 minutes of fun.
We get a beautiful image at the very beginning of this 2 minutes of Arnie picking up the Gatling gun and giving that stern look, and then he kind of raises an eyebrow and smiles. Love that shot. Now that is his gun. We
pseudo-mentioned this in the actual... in the thing, didn't we? Well, the end of the previous episode. Why would he smile at that gun? Because
he's trying to become more human.
He is, but he's not developed emotions enough, or kind of, I guess, envy, or like the desire for kind of material things. I know a robot wouldn't be impressed with that gun.
But I think he's reacting to the fact that John goes, "It's definitely you."
No, because John says it's definitely you after he smiles in reaction to his smile.
That was my chin. I guess he's just trying to make effort. Well, no, because he's had the chip taken out and put back in, so now I guess he's able to think more for himself. So he's obviously remembered what happened at the gas station, Cactus Place or wherever it was.
What happened at the gas station?
Well, he was looking at the guy who was on the phone, and he was just like, hey, he's got a great smile, and he tries to do that really awkward smile, which isn't half as awkward as the fucking smile he does in Genesis when he looks back and he goes, Eek. Why did they make that sound?
Well, you said this. I think the intonation is meant to be that because the technology's old, you can hear a few of these like servo motors and things, which I don't buy for a second.
I don't know. I did say that. I think that might have been a comment from one of our listeners. I don't remember saying that at all.
Maybe it was one of the listeners then.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
They do make the show. No, they don't. We do.
We do.
Yeah.
I do miss Huxley Pig. But yeah, that is definitely... I mean, I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger came out of the womb holding that.
The Huxley Pig episode, I think, is the one I mentioned last show that was like very little facts, but it was filled with such good content relating to the film or the philosophical musings of the themes of the movie. I think that was the one I meant. But anyway, I digress. Linda Hamilton, looking very buff.
She looks very military. She almost looks quite Lara Crofty.
Well, the fact I do remember from this scene, I think, because I don't think he'd seen... I think this is one of the first shots or sequences Arnold shot in the desert with Linda Hamilton. And apparently James Cameron said on the commentary, he's like, "My God, Linda, what's happened? You're so ripped." I know that's what he said to Linda when he first saw her.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
And it was after that he... smashed the back door then.
No, I don't think Arnold had a relationship with Linda.
Oh, it's Arnold that said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant James.
That's what... would James Cameron walk on set and go, "Hey, Linda, my God, you look so ripped"?
Yeah, because our commentary is so consistent, Ethan.
I think it is. I've been pretty good with my facts.
No, I'm talking about fucking accents and who's delivering what.
Hey, come on. That last episode's Chuck Heston. Chuck was great, I thought.
Chucky.
It got better. The doll said, "Mama, over."
I think this whole 2 minutes really kind of sets up the whole fact that John would really like Arnold Schwarzenegger to be his dad, because he's like, "Never met my real dad." And then Arnie, obviously, all matter of fact, goes, "You will." And he's looking at him and he's like, "Oh, you know, I send him back and, you know, I don't know." I feel like this is a moment where John's almost kind of like trying to bond with Arnie.
Well, at this point in the timeline, you can argue that this has already happened.
Yeah, but this is full on.
Do you remember in the first season when we were like, when John sends Kyle Reese back, minus Linda Hamilton's kind of like dictaphone message to him in the future on tape? The first time this would have happened, because this is obviously a repeated timeline now, he has to send him back. He sends Kyle back the first time, I guess. Kyle has sex with his mom. And then she gives birth to John. Now, I suppose in real life, that then would alter the timeline.
As immaculate conception.
No, but the baby she would have at that point wouldn't be John Connor, and the war would still happen, and there wouldn't be a John Connor, because the actual John Connor that fought back against the machines wouldn't exist, because he sends his mate back and he shags his mom, and then she gives birth to someone. Now, in this, obviously, it's a repeating time loop where he has to send Kyle back, otherwise he won't be born in this. I imagine if this was a real thing in our reality, if I went back to save your mom and I had sex with your mom, you wouldn't be Ellie anymore. You'd be someone else. You'd be another child completely, and you wouldn't have the same destiny.
You'd fuck Forrest Bride.
No. But you wouldn't have the same destiny path if I was your dad.
Yeah. You could never be.
But in the Terminator films, this is a looping time loop, isn't it? So he has to keep re-sending Carl back. So what I'm saying is, you will, when he says that, obviously means this has happened several times before. Is that, you know what I mean now?
Oh my God, I've just had an idea.
I just blew your tiny mind?
Yeah,
okay.
But it was in my own little way. Do you remember Honey Nut Loops?
Yeah.
Judgment Day loops.
You'll be nuts about them.
Together. Judgment Day loops. They were one of my favourite cereals. I loved Honey Nut Loops. Don't tell me that was a cereal from the 80s as well.
I don't know what decade it was from, but it was certainly full of sugar, and that explains why you've got no teeth.
Hey, that's not very nice. I have many teeth.
There's nothing like Ellie breaking into a boisterous laugh and seeing the Abbey Road album minus John Paul, George and Ringo walking across them.
One tooth at the side that is no longer there because I chipped it and then I took a lot.
Ellie, you should have flashing lights on each side of your fucking mouth so the fucking crossing guard knows where to let the kids walk across.
Well, at least I can breathe out of both nostrils.
Oh, you
Cunt.
son of a bitch.
At least me and my ex are still very good friends. Fuck you.
You son of a bitch.
At least me and my ex can still have sex on Skype.
At least you and your parents are still together.
Mate, I just win it all. You may have all your own teeth.
I don't. All this here. In fact, my mouth is probably worse than yours. All this.
Yeah.
Is we've slipped out of Terminator. We had a good start. Deal with it, listeners. All of this, literally here and here, the back, my molars, back and forth. Not implants, no, I would never do that. It's all white filling replaced because it was originally silver filling. What happened was, in 2002, there were these things back in the day called pyramid schemes, where a bunch of friends would get together and they'd put £1,500 into the pot, and then they get their mate to put £1,500. When he got to 30 or 40 grand, the money would go to the first person that started it.
They do a thing like this now, and it's called Utility Warehouse.
Okay, but then everyone that follows you, if everyone breaks the chain, everyone gets fucked. So these people came into TGI Fridays once when I was working there. These dentist ladies, lovely ladies. They were in the middle of a pyramid. No. TGI Fridays Birmingham, just before I went to drama school. All these, they were like, oh, we're doing this pyramid scheme. We're celebrating. She's just got like 40 grand. And I was like, wow, how'd you do that? And it's a pyramid scheme. Everyone pays in like £1.5 grand.
Yeah.
And you just encourage other people to do it. So I put money, and then I got other people to put money, and then it all just went to shit somehow. And the woman who taught me into it, this dentist, felt so guilty. She gave me this like entire fucking dental thing.
Aww,
worth
nice.
Probably about that amount of money at the time.
Did you fuck her?
No, she was a middle-aged lady.
Dude, you so would have fucked that lady in Jeffrey West shot.
The Jeffrey West lady, yeah. I don't know, but then again, as I spoke to her, I could see some of her flaws. When I actually first walked in,
What were her flaws?
when I first walked in, I was like, wow, what a fucking beautiful woman. And Christ, look at her body. She looks literally like a Marvel superhero. She's got the giantest tits ever. And they don't look like the kind of ones that would go, ugh, when you took a bra off. They look like they wouldn't move. She was pretty epic. But as we got talking.
So what were the flaws?
She just... you know what? Not a lot. She was just an older woman, and I don't really find older women attractive. She was like 45, but don't get me wrong, she looked fucking great for 45.
She looked incredible. She was 45?
Yeah.
She told you her age?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Why did you ask how old she was?
I didn't ask how old she was, but I'm very good at getting information out of people because I'm
evil.
No, I'm just a good talker, and people relax around me. That's one of all my faults. One of my gifts is having a charming, affable rapport, and people warm.
Front.
No, not a front. I think because maybe it's just 'cause when you have an audience, maybe it's the actor side of me or the comedian side.
When my
of me.
friend Amy first met you, she'd obviously heard from me what you were like.
I was a fucking cunt to her.
No, when you first met Willow, you were a complete cunt to her, and she loved it.
I know, but I can. That's what I mean. I can read people and go.
But
I
Amy's
know
a
the
cunt
right
too.
approach.
But she was actually really shocked. She was like, "No, Ethan's awesome." She said, "But I'm actually really shocked at how courteous and well mannered and well spoken."
I am courteous and well mannered.
I know, but I just don't see that side to you at all.
You do.
On the odd occasion,
If you
and
do
it makes me very
If
uncomfortable.
you do something, I thank you for it. Or if you do me an act of kindness or a fucking solid favour, I always go, "Oh, that's really kind. Thank you so much."
I know, but it makes me a bit weird.
Or make a point of acknowledging that at least. The same way if you speak to someone who's homeless, if you haven't got any money to give them, you should always give a homeless person your full attention, because at the very least you can do that because they are so ignored.
Can I deviate away from all of this just for 2 seconds? I promise.
John Connor's haircut.
As I was about to get the train to come and meet you in Morrison's, a
I was
homeless
raped by a
man was
homeless man.
pissing in a bin at the station in Dorking. I was like, "This is Surrey. This doesn't happen." He was pissed out of his face. His trousers were down by his ankles, and he was just, the bins at train stations.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't be solid in case there's a bomb in it. Do you remember that time you rescued that mouse?
Yes.
Dude, he fucking was pissing.
Oh, in the bag?
In the bag.
That's all right.
There was dude, it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You've got all the kids like coming from school, and he was just stood there. I almost filmed it, but I thought, God, I'll probably get arrested for being some kind of pervert. And then they'll go through my phone, and then they'll really know that I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I divulge.
It's
Yeah.
quite a classy move though. At least he wasn't just going "Ugh," and just drawing his name on the fucking platform floor in it.
He wasn't exactly like aiming for a target. I mean, it's quite a girthy fucking bin.
Was he was he able to get his dick into it to aim down into it, or was he like shooting?
No,
up
he was just like kind of swaying and like hitting the sides, and some of it went in, some
That's
of it
great.
didn't. But I was just like, do not want to get any of this on my shoes. Anyway, I just had to share that.
The philosophical conversation underneath thing. Why do you cry?
Why do you
See,
cry?
I get that. That would happen when he asked that because he's trying to learn.
Yeah.
But I still don't get why he'd smile.
I think he's trying to
based
learn
off
to
that gun.
integrate.
No, I know, but he'd look at that gun and just be like, "This is a good gun in my robot mind. This is powerful. It could be of use to us." He wouldn't go, "Hey."
Maybe he felt it's a powerful machine. I'm a powerful machine. I like
Yeah,
this
but he
gun.
wouldn't register emotion on it.
Well, he did. It's there.
I mean, all right, you know what? You could argue, yes, because he's an infiltration unit. They should have all this stuff pre-programmed into them, whether they're switched to learning. This doll switched to evil. If they're switched to learning or not learning, if the CPU's obviously been changed by pulling at the base tab, was there a problem? You'd think they'd have a full range of emotions. It'd be like really friendly. The way Robert Patrick approaches...
Do you reckon I could get ripped like Sarah?
Yeah, the way Robert Pratt, Chris
Perino.
Pratt, Jurassic Park, Guardians of the Galaxy. Robert Patrick,
He's so not attractive.
when he approaches the foster parents' house, he's like normal and nice, isn't he? The Terminator in Terminator 1 and this, chip switching or not, should have that quality already because he should be more human, right?
Yeah.
But he's not. He's all like, "I am a mean-looking robot with a stern look, so I stick out like a sore thumb, and I look like an Austrian bodybuilder with a shitty accent."
But again, I come back to the fact that he's.
I'm Sergeant Candy. I'm glad to be part of.
Amazing. Can we please put that on the page?
We've already done it.
Have you?
Yeah, it was fucking hell. It was ages ago.
Oh wow.
We discussed it, and I put the clip on.
I think the fact that I totally get what you're saying, but I think the reason that may have been put in is because he's had the CPU's been taken out, it's been put back in, it's kind of been reset, so it allows him to, I guess it's like Data.
He's a motion
from
chip.
Star Trek. He's slowly trying to learn to become more human, and he picks up on little things.
But
I did love Data and Lore, by the way. I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them.
Well, Data didn't get his emotion chip until Star Trek First Contact with the Borg.
Was it the
And he's
Borg,
like, I'm feeling really anxious. And he's like, oh, it must be a very interesting experience for you, Data, but can you just switch off your emotion chip? And he goes, done. And then they go off into battle.
Because if you think about it...
Because he's getting the vapors.
As well, though, because Lore was evil. So that is a character trait.
I don't know any about this.
Oh,
the only thing I can equate this to is Kit from Knight Rider and Car, which was Kit's kind of opposite. And Car had like an umber, a burnt umber, an orange or amber light going on the bonnet. And Kit obviously had a red eyeball on the front. Eyeball. And they were kind of like he was the evil version or the corrupted version of Kit.
Yeah.
So Data and Lore are the same thing, right? He's his opposite number.
Exactly, yeah.
The same thing, but the dark side of. What was Lore like, Ellie?
Evil.
No, what?
Switch the music to evil.
Why was Lore? What in the Star Trek pantheon or Star Trek lore? Lore, not Law. How's Lore spelt? The character.
I think it is actually Law.
Okay, so in Star Trek lore, Lore. What is Lore and how did he get made?
Lore, I believe. So Data was obviously this thing that was created to be
Data's Pinocchio, isn't he?
He wants to be
but he wants to be a real boy. That's his dream, isn't it? That's his wish.
No, that's not initially why he was made.
No, I know, but Data's journey as a non-fan, from what I understand,
he wants to be. But what I think
human.
Is Lore was made at the same time, but
This is a good one.
But maybe I know, maybe Lore, like in Alien,
right?
There were a few like attempts to make the perfect android or whatever. And I think Lore might have been one of those, but
a generation before, without the proper personality set up.
They kind of rewired him a bit wrong, and he was a bit more malicious, a bit more kind of sneaky. He was a bit, but yeah, he's all about.
Did Lore and Data have a creator they ever interact with at some point, like the man who made them or invented them, who looks like Brent
They interact with each other because Lore then tries to infiltrate Data and tries to pretend to be Data to then overrun the ship.
And is Lore different the same way Michael Myers' mask is Michael Myers, but in Halloween 2, the guy that gets killed by the 2 car crashes is Ben Tramer in the Michael Myers mask, but he's got white albino hair.
No, they're the same person.
So they've got the same hair. There's no little thing that makes Lore different.
Yes.
His eyes a little bit different colour.
Lore gets these slight dimples, and he actually has like emotion in his eyes. So he has this weird kind of twitchy smile every now and again, which is the one thing that kind of tells you that that's Lore and not Data.
The same way in the Roy Thinnes 1960s TV series, The Invaders, a Quinn Martin production. No?
No, not that one. I'm an 80s kid, not 60s.
No, I know, but throughout the 80s and 90s, and John Nichols will attest to this, on BBC Two on tea times, they'd replay old series. This in particular, like an American series called The Invaders, and aliens had already taken over the planet. But this one guy who was like drunk or asleep in his car one night saw the UFO land, and from that moment in time, he was always trying to like thwart or tell the world about the invaders. And the only way you could tell who the invaders were, they looked completely human, but they always had their little finger bent like that, so you could tell who was an invader.
Have I ever showed you my fucked up finger?
No.
Right, so you've got your hands like this, and they're all straight, right?
Yeah.
If I put these 2 fingers that way, if I take my ring off, it's actually a Fitzgerald trait. My brother doesn't have it. I'd just like
to say as a caveat to this, Ellie went out by her own volition and bought a ring from Crazy Pig, London's very famous rock and roll jeweler.
No, my mum bought it for me for my birthday.
All right, who I understand, Billy Idol himself was in the shop last week.
He was.
Among other people, Ozzy Osbourne shop
Gene
there.
Bible,
Orlando
a
Bloom.
good friend of ours.
Gene Bible goes there. They made the rings for many of the wizards from the Harry Potter series. They made
Helen
the
Bonham Carter, Iggy Pop.
Johnny Depp gets his rings there. Slash, anyone who's everyone in rock and roll buys their rings at Crazy Pig in Covent Garden. We'll put a link on the under the thing. But completely unconnected, she got the ring that I got my ex-girlfriend, the special ring, which, by the way, you know what she fucking said ages ago? I forgot she said this.
She sold it?
No, well, not that she sold it, but before that she went, oh, I thought you got this because you're apologising for something. I was like, no, I just got you a ring, you silly cow. Bit weird, anyway, but you got the exact same ring. Anyway,
the weirder part was it was a choice out of two, and the other one that I didn't get was the one that she bought you. Skull.
What do you mean?
Do you remember? I told you. I said it was out of this one and the skull that goes around, and you went, "Oh my fucking god, that's the one that she bought me." And I was just like, "Oh,
Sid."
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the intro, audio only, to the Invaders. We'll put a link to it under the show notes, of course. But it starred Roy Thinners, and it was a Quinn Martin production. It was kind of a little. You know what? It's a little bit like the X-Files. He was like the Fox Mulder trying to prove this alien conspiracy, and no one believed him. We're going to play it now in this excellent episode of the 2-Minute Terminator, the Saturday edition.
The Invaders. A Quinn Martin production. Starring Roy Thinnes as architect David Vincent. The Invaders. Alien beings from a dying planet. Their destination, the Earth. Their purpose, to make it their world.
It's kind of like the beginning of the Clangers.
David Vincent has seen them. For him, it began one lost night on a lonely country road looking for a shortcut that he never found.
Ethan McKinley looking for an agent who we never found.
Diner, and a man too long without sleep to continue his journey.
He was looking for a glory hole.
It began with the landing of a craft from another galaxy. Now, David Vincent knows that the invaders are here, that they have taken human form. Somehow he must convince a disbelieving world that the nightmare has already begun. The guest stars in tonight's story, John Larch, Carol Rawson, Frank Overton. Tonight's episode, Genesis.
Wow! That's amazing. It brought it back to a Terminator connection.
I actually did. I'm amazed that I've never heard of that.
The Invaders.
I used to watch all those old weird
David Vincent,
things.
glory holing in Alabama.
Prisoner.
Was too tired to get to Porky.
Brandon Hopkirk.
Deceased.
Deceased.
And it was called Genesis. How bizarre.
I know.
Wow.
So concise.
The Arnie Smile thing, obviously, it's just a character choice he made on the day because it's like a cool little moment, but it's nothing to do with Terminator, really. Yeah. But that was quite a fact-filled episode.
Why do you cry?
I quite enjoyed that.
When did you last cry?
When did I last cry? I don't know. I think I've cried so much over the last 3 or 4 years because of Sophie drama. Not the actual leaving thereof, but just the complete mental torture. Probably that.
So,
but it doesn't
about
actually...
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Okay.
Things don't really hit me in that kind of way. They go, I think they used to a lot, but I think
you internalize a lot.
Yeah, but I also understand. It's almost like when you get so angry about something, it doesn't actually solve the problem, so I don't kind of do it.
I know, but every now and again, it is good to actually release something. So whether it's crying or like just giving someone a hug, sometimes that's all it takes.
Oh, I know, I do those things. But motorbiking usually was my release.
Yeah, I know, which is why we need this year to hurry and finish so we can get John back on the road.
Taking a big old shit.
Yeah.
in the way I usually like
When you're
to go
coming
to
up
the
off
toilet
MDMA.
is when I like stand actually on the seat. Well, actually, no, I put the seat up and I stand on the toilet and squat in the French way.
I bring my knees up, yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
you
that's-
once caught me and
that's
it
bad.
absolutely horrified you.
Yeah.
He actually walked into the
But
bathroom.
no one in your house closes the door when
I
they go to
do
the toilet.
now. I close it and I fucking
Martin
lock it.
doesn't.
Just from fear
Royce
of that
doesn't.
look of
Matt
disgust on your
doesn't.
face.
You certainly don't. It's shocking to me. Anyway, that was episode 44
I don't
of
know.
the
John will
2-Minute
tell us.
Terminator. Now, Ellie, I'm going to ask you. I
Yes.
sent you the full length of notes and timelines
I will have a look
that
for
I did.
it.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure. Otherwise, I fucked up, deleted all my notes from episode 44 onwards, and we'll just have to wing it. But, you know,
You gotta swing it to wing it.
that could still work. Hey, everyone, thank you for listening.
Thank
We're
you.
not actually recording this on Saturday as promised. Ellie suggested, because we were on a roll, to do a quick podcast after the one we
And
just
it's been
done.
really good.
And it's been really good.
Exactly. Should always trust me.
And philosophical, fact-packed, discussing performance, actor choices.
And we deviated and it actually came back to Genesis.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
A Quinn Martin production.
I can't believe I've never heard of The Invaders though. Shocking. Was it good?
Shocking. I don't know, as a kid maybe, but I think, and you know, I don't know how the series resolved. I think I should actually look that up.
Because I've gone
Because
back
he was
and
always, he'd go into a facility and there'd be like a scientist there that he had to talk to, but he'd be surrounded by people with like a wiggly little finger and he had to kind of get around them and escape, and then the lab would get blown up at the end and he'd have to move on. It was like a formula, I think, for American series where
Yeah.
the A-team would do it. They'd come into a town, there'd be some like horrible person oppressing the people and they'd fight them, and then, you know, they'd move on to the next town. The Incredible Hulk, he'd try and help people in a town, and then he'd turn into the Hulk and almost have to banish himself and move on with his backpack. The Littlest Hobo, about the dog who would come and solve problems, you know?
I got a new attitude. Sorry, I got Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack in my head.
So, speaking of the Littlest Hobo, I think we'll play out with that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Which
say.
was about a dog, a German Shepherd or an Alsatian.
Hey!
Hey! Call back.
Hey.
Yeah, who would basically come and go and go and solve problems. So hasta la vista, baby.
Baby.
We'll return on Sunday if Ellie's still alive and we can get to do a goddamn
I'll be
show.
alive.
The Littlest Hobo. Goodbye. Hasta la vista.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. That's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
How is a dog controlling a fucking balloon on his own?
I've been in a hot air balloon.
Dog?
I am a dog. He's way better than Lassie.
Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
Woof.
Watch out for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines. They will rule the world. I'll be back.